Ever wonder what it took to keep Boston's premier newspaper going? Well, we're going to find that out today at the Boston Bugle. This place is massive and it's located next to the, well, even larger Mass Fusion building. So let's head on in and see what we can find. It seems the morning paper has already been delivered to here, or I should say that it would be leaving here. Once you enter the lobby, you can see that, well, someone's sleeping on the job. It appears no one has been in here for a long time. The dead Protectron, however, gives me a wee bit of an idea as to what we may encounter. Although there's 2 pods, and there's one missing. I'm sure that won't matter unless, yeah, the moment you walk into the main room, you will be greeted by that Protectron, who will not be happy that you are just walking about here and you're not an employee or a journalist. There's a Nuka cherry you can find, as well as lots of food, because obviously no one's been here in a while. There's a wee article terminal, let's have a look at it. Alright, so this was the front page news, October 19th, October 23rd. We've got the copyright of the Boston Bugle, and articles are not to be reprinted without the permission of the editor-in-chief. So, number 1, case closed on crime boss Eddie Winter by Mags Vesio, Boston Bugle staff writer. In a move that has shocked and angered the people of Massachusetts, the Boston Police Department announced last night they have ceased all investigations into the actions of reputed organised crime boss Eddie Edward Winter. Speaking on behalf of the special task force that had been assembled specifically to build a case against Winter, Captain Jonathan Widmark of the PBD said, after reviewing the evidence with our colleagues at the Bureau of Alcohol, Drugs, Tobacco, Firearms and Lasers, so that's the bad TFL building, it became clear that we were in fact wrong. Eddie Winter has indeed had a colourful history, but it is not a criminal one. By pursuing our case against Mr. Winter, we would simply continue to waste taxpayer dollars and, even worse, condemn an innocent man. It was an unexpected turn of events, to be sure. According to the Boston Bugle's confidential sources within the Boston Police Department, the innocent man was anything but. As uncovered by Captain Widmark's official investigation, codenamed Operation Winter's End, Eddie Winter was involved in every crime imaginable, from petty larceny to first-degree murder. And although nothing was proved, everyone in Widmark's task force suspected Winter in the August homicide death of their lead detective's fiancée, a Miss Jennifer Lands. That was Nick Valentine's missus. Whatever the truth, it would appear the city of Boston has nothing more to fear from Eddie Winter. When approached for comment, the alleged crime boss could not be reached. In fact, his South Boston sub-shop has been shuttered and his Harbourside residence completely cleared out. Eddie Winter, it would seem, has just disappeared. Obviously, Eddie Winter was working with the police to incarcerate other crime bosses in exchange for clearly being labelled an innocent man. The next article, the China Showdown, the Atomic Ultimatum. So, war. Has there been any extended period of time in recent history in which soldiers have not fought, bled and died, all for the sake of furthering the political goals of one government or another? The short answer is no. The longer, more terrifying answer is that we have not yet to begin the extent of human suffering. From Anchorage in frigid Alaska to Shantou on our enemy's doorstep, American troops have been embroiled in brutal battle. They have taken and lost many lives, a nearly uncountable number. But not entirely, because the truth is, the casualties have been countable. These conflicts, however horrible, have all been, in some explicit manner, perverted away, manageable. Through taxes and various wartime revenues, the United States government has been able to fund a standing army the likes of which this country has never seen before. The same is certainly true of our mortal foe, China, and with each dollar spent comes a natural accounting of how that dollar was spent. Every bullet, every bunker-busting bomb, every body bag, soon after each is used in the theatre of war, we know every how, where and when. But the sad obvious truth is that the days of manageable war have nearly come to an end. In the minds of the world's greatest minds, those billions of dollars haven't merely been spent, they've been wasted. Because here we are, after more than a decade of constant warfare with no clear end and no winner in sight. So really, at this point, what other option do these superpowers have if not the nuclear one? And therein, of course, lies the rub. For when China or the United States launches its nuclear missiles and drops its atomic bombs, there will be no one left to count the casualties, let alone the ordnance. No one left to declare victory. So when only one question remains, is there any way the powers of the world can prevent a nuclear apocalypse? If there is any hope for the world, we must believe the answer is yes. But these are hopeless times. The Boston food riots, I was actually just about to mention that myself. Obviously, the world was pretty hopeless at this point. By Buster Connolly. In what can only be described as a scene of absolute pandemonium, on Friday afternoon, soldiers of the United States Army's 184th Infantry Regiment opened fire on a group of unarmed civilians after an unknown person smashed the plate glass window of the Roxbury food bank, prompting several people in the line outside to storm into the establishment. As of yesterday evening, at least 4 people were confirmed dead, 8 others injured, but Jonathan Corman, spokesman for the army, insists the troops acted within their authority. The soldiers in question issued explicit verbal warnings several times. Those people knew exactly what would happen if they broke the line and attacked the food bank. Hunger is no excuse for civil disobedience, vandalism, or in this case, starting a riot that puts the lives of every civilian in the area at risk. It is the role of the United States Army to maintain order in this difficult time. And that is exactly what happened in this instance. I would like to point out that the soldiers of the 184th Infantry Regiment have not had a food ration in 2 days. These men and women understand hunger probably better than anyone. It is a response the American people have grown accustomed to, as violent scenes like the one in Roxbury have played out again and again across the country as a starving populace tries desperately to obtain food for its families. And, as it has happened so many times in the past, the civilian witnesses of the so-called riot tell a different tale. 85-year-old grandmother Hannah Henry was in line at the food bank and claims the soldiers had anything but order and liberty on their minds. They were laughing, joking about who they were going to shoot first. It was all a game to them. Those soldiers may not have fired on the crowd before the window got broke, but they were looking forward to it all the same. One can only hope that the violence in Roxbury will be the last such an incident our country has to suffer through. But until America finds the strength to question its domestic policies and the food to feed its people, the future remains uncertain. White House remains empty. Where is our president? For more than half a year, the West Wing of America's most famous residence has remained shrouded in near complete darkness. A skeleton crew of the manual labourers remain on staff to maintain the property, but nobody has lived or worked politically there for several months. And even though the White House press corps was unofficially and unceremoniously disbanded around the same time, the media has remained steadfast in answering the most important question: where is our president? At a time, the assumption of the entirety of the United States government has moved operations to Raven Rock, obviously from Fallout 3, the military operations centre located in the mountainous region of Pennsylvania, just a few miles northeast of the presidential retreat in Camp David, Maryland. But further investigations have revealed that neither the president nor his cabinet have been to the Raven Rock complex in over a year. So if not Raven Rock, then where? Thanks to an extensive and exhaustive investigation, the Boston Bugle has uncovered the answer. Now, readers will likely consider it as strange as it is shocking. The president has been leading our country from a Poseidon Energy oil rig just off the coast of San Francisco. So there's a Fallout 2 reference, where the Enclave are based on the oil rig. It's certainly an odd choice for a presidential command centre, or is it? Not as much as it may seem, our investigation has discovered. Thanks to the testimony of highly placed anonymous source, the Boston Bugle has learned that the official designation of the oil rig is actually Control Station Enclave, giving credence to the long rumours of a secret militarised shadow government known as the Enclave that would take control of the United States in the event of nuclear conflagration. And so the mystery of the missing president has finally been solved. But in doing so, has the Boston Bugle uncovered evidence that the end of the world, in the form of an atomic war, is also at hand. Sadly, the president's silence seems to speak volumes. And this was the other last one. Boston headed for the first World Series win since 1918. As every resident of Boston is painfully aware, it has been 159 years since the city has revelled in the joy of a World Series victory. Whether from strikeout, error in the outfield, or ball that rolls disastrously through an infielder's legs, defeat has remained our constant, unwelcome companion. But not for long. In what has been one of the most exciting World Series in decades, Boston has achieved a 3-0 lead over the unbeatable Texas favourite. Batting, fielding and pitching have all aligned, thanks largely to the direction of legendary coach Dusty Wilder, giving this team the best chance they've had for victory in, well, forever. Even more encouraging than Game 4 being played here in Boston is the fact the team has yet to utilise their star pitcher, Matt the Missile Murtaugh. With him on the mound, some are actually predicting not only a series-shattering win, but a no-hitter to boot. Yes, for years the concession stands of Boston have fed baseball fans a steady diet of beer, hot dogs, peanuts and bitter defeat. But on Saturday, October 23rd, 2077, the only thing that could snatch away victory is an act of God or some obscene calamity. Tomorrow, my friends, the unthinkable will finally come to pass and life in Boston will never be the same again. Well, they were correct on that last bit, because obviously things were never the same again because the bombs dropped at that very moment. Now, if we go down to the bottom level, it's just a lot of junk. Printers, all the admin for such a large establishment. And there's another Bugle article terminal, but it doesn't read any other ones. But there's a steamer trunk here, in which it makes everything worthwhile. Now, there is an outside section through this door right here. Once you exit out, you can place the MILA, if Tinker Tom has told you to come here. So that's where its location is. You can get a box of San Francisco Sunlights. Quite a rare find. It's presumed that this might have been the editor-in-chief or the head honcho of the Boston Bugle with his lovely office that, well, there's not too much of an office left here. Now, if you are wondering what exactly is on the roof, we can have a quick look and you can see it is, well, practically empty. You get a view of Mass Fusion and the other surrounding areas, but there's nothing of note. And, well, it's actually a back alley bowling advertisement on top of the building. There's one other thing to note, that when you're here, of course on the map, this place is located in the downtown area near the Mass Fusion building and south of Cabot House, which is back in the main building. I almost forgot about this. It is the Vault-Tec Lunchbox New Kid ticket. Nice. And from this point, you'll take a lovely ride back down to the bottom level. Steamer trunk, a few stories. If anything, that's the primary purpose of this particular place. Was just to give you some inside wee bit of Fallout 2, Fallout 3 references to the Enclave in Raven Rock. Brilliant investigative journalism. Alright, I'll catch you over the next one. Thank you for watching.